In August 2025, Nigeria announced a 6-month ban on raw shea nut exports, aiming to transform its economic landscape. Supporters see it as a chance to elevate Nigeria from a raw material supplier to a global leader in processed shea products. Critics warn it could harm rural women who rely on shea nut income. The policy challenges Nigeria's traditional economic role, betting on local processing to boost earnings from $65 million to $3 billion. The world watches to see if Nigeria's gamble will empower its women and reshape its economy or lead to economic hardship. The outcome will be a lesson for other nations considering similar bold moves. The global shea industry, valued at over $2.5 billion, is a lifeline for millions across West Africa. At the heart of this industry are African women, whose skilled hands harvest the shea nuts that fuel a worldwide demand for shea butter and related products. These women, often working in rural communities, form the backbone of a supply chain that stretches from remote villages to luxury cosmetic brands and food manufacturers around the globe. Their labor is not just a means of survival, but a vital contribution to a booming international market. Despite Nigeria's dominance in the sector, capturing an astonishing 40% of the world's raw shea production, the country earns a mere 1% of the $6.50 billion global market for finished shea products. This paradox highlights a deep imbalance. While Nigeria supplies the raw materials, the real profits are made elsewhere, where the nuts are processed into high-value goods like cosmetics, chocolates, and pharmaceuticals. Most of Nigeria's shea harvest is exported in its raw form, bypassing the lucrative stages of processing and manufacturing. This means that the country misses out on the significant profits and job opportunities that come with turning raw nuts into finished products. The value chain as it stands leaves local communities with little more than subsistence wages. Recognizing this lost potential, the Nigerian government has introduced a new policy aimed at keeping more of the shea value chain within the country. By encouraging local processing and investment in modern facilities, the policy seeks to ensure that more of the wealth generated by shea stays in Nigeria, benefiting its people directly. Yet, challenges remain. An estimated 25% of Nigeria's shea crop is lost to unregulated trade and informal markets, further reducing the country's earnings and undermining efforts to formalize the industry. This leakage not only affects national revenue, but also perpetuates poverty among rural collectors. The government's policy is designed to break this cycle. By supporting local processing, it aims to create skilled jobs, empower women, and raise incomes for those at the bottom of the supply chain. Training programs and new factories are being established to help women move from basic collection to more profitable roles in processing and quality control. Nigeria's vast reserves of untapped shea trees represent a huge opportunity. With the right investment and infrastructure, the country could not only meet global demand, but also become a leader in sustainable and ethical shea production. The government's recent ban on raw shea exports is a bold move, directly challenging the economic model that has long kept Nigeria at the bottom of the value chain. This policy is intended to force a shift toward local value addition and greater economic independence. The ultimate goal is to transform Nigeria from a mere supplier of raw materials into a powerhouse of the global shea industry, one that not only exports products, but also exports prosperity and opportunity for its people. Nigeria's recent ban on the export of raw shea nuts marks a significant turning point for the country's agricultural sector. For decades, Nigeria has been one of the world's largest producers of shea nuts, but most of these valuable nuts were shipped abroad in their raw form, with little value added locally. This policy shift is designed to change that narrative. By restricting raw exports, the government aims to transform Nigeria from a supplier of unprocessed materials into a powerhouse of finished shea products. This means more jobs, more skills, and more opportunities for local communities, especially in rural areas where shea nut collection is a vital source of income. The ultimate goal is to build a robust domestic processing industry. By processing shea nuts into butter and other products within Nigeria, the country hopes to increase its annual earnings from $65 million to $300 million in the short term, and eventually reach an ambitious target of $3 billion. This would not only boost national revenue, but also create a ripple effect of economic benefits across the supply chain. This strategy is part of a broader vision to diversify Nigeria's economy, which has long been heavily dependent on oil exports. By investing in agriculture and local manufacturing, the country is taking steps to build a more resilient and sustainable economic future. Importantly, the policy is also designed to empower women, who make up the majority of the Shea industry's workforce. By creating better regulated and higher-paying jobs in processing and packaging, the ban offers new opportunities for women to thrive as skilled workers and entrepreneurs. Supporters of the ban argue that it will protect smallholder farmers from exploitation by middlemen and foreign buyers, ensuring they receive fairer prices for their hard work. This could help lift entire communities out of poverty and foster greater economic inclusion. The ban is just one part of a comprehensive strategy to promote local manufacturing and encourage investment in value-added industries. By nurturing homegrown businesses, Nigeria hopes to become a leader in the global Shea market. The opening of a state-of-the-art processing facility in Niger State is a major milestone, signaling the country's commitment to this new direction and providing a model for future investments. With strong government support and growing private sector interest, Nigeria hopes that the ban on raw shea nut exports will spark a wave of industrial growth, ensuring that the country's economic gains finally match its vast production potential. If successful, Nigeria's shea export ban could reshape its economic landscape, creating stable, skilled jobs. A domestic processing industry would offer new career paths beyond agriculture, especially for women. Farmers could benefit from higher, more stable incomes with local processors offering competitive prices. The macroeconomic impact includes increased foreign exchange earnings and reduced reliance on oil. This shift would strengthen Nigeria's economy, providing resources for public services. Local processing would stimulate growth in other sectors, promoting the Made in Nigeria brand. The vision is a cycle of local value addition, fueling further economic development. Nigeria's shea processing ambitions face challenges, notably a lack of processing capacity. Without new factories, a supply glut could harm rural women by collapsing farm gate prices. Infrastructure deficits like unreliable electricity and poor roads threaten industrial expansion. The ban risks losing international buyers to competitors like Ghana and Benin. If Nigeria can't build capacity quickly, it may lose market share permanently. The policy's success depends on rapid industrial development to prevent economic harm. The gamble is a race against time with significant human consequences. Nigeria's shea export ban is part of a regional trend in West Africa. This move is not isolated but rather part of a broader strategy seen across the region. Countries like Ghana and Burkina Faso have similar restrictions, signaling a shift towards value addition. These nations are focusing on processing raw materials locally to boost their economies and create jobs. This aligns with the African Continental Free Trade Area's goals of promoting intra-African trade. By encouraging local production, these countries aim to reduce dependency on foreign markets and strengthen regional ties. Nigeria aims to become a major supplier of shea butter to Africa and beyond. The country is investing heavily in modernizing its shea butter industry to meet international standards and increase its market share. However, regional competition for investment and infrastructure could challenge Nigeria's position. Other countries in the region are also vying for the same investments, making it a competitive landscape. Historical precedents show mixed results for such bans, with potential for both success and failure. While some countries have benefited from similar policies, others have faced significant challenges. Nigeria's policy is a risky path in development economics, with the potential for significant rewards. The success of this policy will depend on various factors, including government support, market conditions, and the ability to attract investment. The outcome will depend on Nigeria's ability to create a business-friendly environment. If successful, this could set a precedent for other African nations to follow, potentially transforming the region's economic landscape. Nigeria's shea nut export ban is a gamble for economic transformation. Success requires rapid infrastructure improvements and private sector support. The policy's human impact is significant, with rural women's livelihoods at stake. Supportive measures are needed to prevent income loss and empower collectors. Failure could alienate international buyers and harm Nigeria's market position. The decision's outcome will shape Nigeria's economic future and influence global perceptions. The world watches to see if Nigeria's bet on women's gold will pay off or lead to economic challenges.